Yogi? Yogi, I need you to help me pick one. Please? Today we're going to take a look at some of my favourite games on the Sega megadrive, or Genesis for you cowboys and cowgirls out there. And before we get going, please remember these are my favourite games. They're not the best games, they're not even the most popular games. They're just games that I have really fond memories of, or believe still hold up really well today. With that being said, I'd love to hear what your favourite games are, what your memories are of the era, those games, which games you still think are worth playing to this day. Let's get started. This top-down racer was fast, fun, brutally difficult. It could be mastered, but that took time and patience. Whilst all Micro Machines editions are good games in and of themselves, it was 96 that perfected the edge-of-your-seat racing. The cartridge adorned with 2 additional controller ports meant that 4-player fun was easy and accessible. A track creator with battery backup completed the ensemble, and taken as a whole, this cemented Micro Machines 96 in my top 10. Disney games on the Mega Drive were almost always masterpieces, but for me, it was Quack Shot that stands out the most. Simple platforming with some surprisingly deep game mechanics has you travelling the world to locate some ancient treasure. Exciting stuff, for sure. Armed only with your trusty plunger, you take on Evil Pete and his gang of foes who are trying to get in your way and steal the treasure for themselves. The game itself can be completed in around 30 minutes, when you know how, but I found this somehow charming in its own way. Waking up on a weekend and being able to finish the game before the Saturday morning cartoons even started was always a fun start to the day. Having played this first on the Amiga and being wowed then by its vector-based graphics, my jaw dropped when I saw it on the shelf of my local game store in 1993. I have to admit it, I'm so glad I picked it up. Drawn into it initially for the incredible graphical presentation, it was the cinematic gameplay and fun, sometimes challenging platforming, alien gunslinging action that kept me coming back for more. Now, ice hockey wasn't especially popular this side of the Atlantic, but I still had a lot of fun with this sports title from EA. The fast-paced action and fluid gameplay was a joy to behold. Without any frame of reference, I got a real feel for what it must be like to experience a real ice hockey game. The chants from the crowd, the obnoxiously loud tunes belting out of the hockey organ, and the fighting. Yeah, I mean, we came for the hockey, but we stayed for the fights. All these years later, I'm still unsure if it's the game or the cartoon that came first, but Earthworm Jim offered fantastic platforming action, with plenty of gags thrown in for good measure. The legendary David Perry, no not that one, was at the helm, delivering outstanding cartoon visuals and animation. It's a game I still revisit from time to time and is somehow a much harder effort in my advancing years. Now we're into the top 5 and I'm offering a somewhat controversial entry here. If you've seen our video looking at CVG magazine from June 1991, you'll know that in the early 90s I was a sucker for polygons. So when Sega tried to one-up Nintendo's Super FX chip by developing the Sega Virtual Processor, or SVP chip, I was all in. Virtua Racing on the Mega Drive does the seemingly impossible here, bringing a cutting-edge 3D arcade experience to the home, and there was little better at the time than Virtua Racing. I mean, sure, some cuts had to be made to the overall presentation, the low frame rate, reduced colour depth, many fewer polygons, and the abysmal sound. But did it matter? Not to me, not one bit. I couldn't quite figure out where to place this, but then a ninja showed up at my door and promised that if I didn't put it into my top 5 then all manner of magic and shurikens would be coming my way. Revenge of Shinobi is an early effort on the system, but no less worthy of a place here. The tight platforming and levels teeming with life, ready for you to strike down at a moment's notice, has never and will never get old. Set the sound test to 00 and wait 5 seconds for infinite shurikens. It's really the only way to beat this game. A worthy follow-up to the excellent Thunder Force 3. Thunder Force 4 ratchets up the gameplay, weaponry, level design, bosses, and overall presentation to an outstanding degree. The pick up and play nature wasn't immediately punishing, unlike some other masters of the genre. R-Type, Karuga. Thunder Force 4 delivered in all aspects, and it's certainly still worth your time today. If you've never played it, you really should. I know by putting this masterclass of side-scrolling brawler at number 2, you guys will have a fair idea of what's hitting number 1, but let's deal with this first. SOR2 is quite simply unbeaten on 16-bit consoles of the era. Some of you might be crying into your screens about the Ninja Turtles, Hyperstone Heist on Sega, or Turtles in Time on the SNES, Golden Axe, or even Battletoads. But whilst great games in their own right, Streets of Rage 2 has the attitude, the gritty and raw street fighting, the pumping soundtrack, super fun gameplay, and turkeys? I know, how bloody original. I don't care, this is my list and I'm sticking to it. Sonic 2 took everything that was great about Sonic 1 and doubled it. It was faster, brighter, smoother, more fun, and simply more super. It introduced incredible looking 3D special stages and the wily sidekick Tails. Or Miles Tails Prower. Miles per hour, get it? With 2 characters, we had a brand new 2-player split screen mode that you and a friend could race through, with booby tracks and rings galore. To say I spent an unhealthy amount of time with Sonic 2 would be an understatement. My parents really should have given me some sort of intervention. My Hedgehog habit throughout 1993 was out of control. And there you have it. That's my top 10 favourite Mega Drive games. I'd love to hear what your favourite Mega Drive games are, so please leave a comment down below. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Now before we go, I'd just like to give a few honourable mentions to games that didn't quite make the list. Ghouls and Ghosts, Rock Hard, Haunted Horror, Road Rash, Bikes and Beatings, FIFA, Football, John Madden, Freedom Football, Aladdin, Mickey Mouse in the Castle of Illusion, Lion King, all Disney games were cracking on the Mega Drive. Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Rocket Knight Adventures, Golden Axe, Gunstar Heroes, Run and Gun from Treasure, NBA Jam, Incendiary Arcade Basketball, Sunset Riders, Pow Pow, Echo, the game your mother wanted you to play. Okay, I could go on, but there are just so many great games on this system, and it's a library really well worth checking out if you haven't already. I'm sure many of you have. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with these games, but they do hold a special place in my heart, and I'm sure in your heart as well. Until next time.